How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Sold out here doing the recap deck profile thingamadoohickey. This is the deck list that I played at Vegas this weekend. Um, deck honestly was much better than I expected. Um, there's a few changes I made like last second that actually turned out really well. That was like the two copies of Star in the main, and I swapped the Mind Splitter and the Darius's, um, and it was very clean, very nice. I went 5-3 in the main event, so one win off of day two, and that was kind of to my own fault. None of my losses, no, it's not. One of my losses was like unwinnable. It was like Aurelia. They decided to like double Stella Corn game one and two, and it's like I can't beat Aurelia with 12 cards in hand, you know. Um, but the other two losses were completely my fault. Like I actually lost round one to Kaisa, and like this guy obviously like didn't know what any of my cards did, and like my deck's in Chinese, and so like he's obviously like kind of frustrated, and we have to get like multi we have to be like judge like what does this card do, it's just like the whole thing was like a whole mess. So he ended up taking that game. Like I was kind of in my own head about the whole thing, because I'm like bro, I'm so sorry, like I'm not trying to like get one over on you, like this is just like I was trying to help him out. So he ended up taking. I ended up losing versus the Kaisa. Just my own fault. I just wasn't paying attention to my runes. That sort of thing. But then I ended up also losing to a Victor player. And if you've heard me talk about the Victor matchup before, I say the same thing. It's like don't commit your valuable units to the board, because if a unit is on the board, it can die, right? And then what do? I commit my Kaisa a turn too early. Like I needed the Kaisa in hand. I have lethal if I just like accelerate ride the wind. But I commit her to the board, and then I don't have an accelerate to win the game on the follow up turn. So that was definitely a blunder by me. Like I said, but all two of the three games I lost were just me making bad decisions. And then one game was just like I don't think any deck in the game would have won that Aurelia match. Dude just like had the stones. I even had this sick line versus the Aurelia where I went like rebuke Annie rebuke, and he just had double not so fast because he has 15 cards in hand, right? Um, but that's just kind of what this format is. This format is just them having 1,000 cards in hand and you trying to like figure out how to win. It's really scuffed. If I had to make any changes, I would probably just like drop the hard bargain and like play the third Darius. Like Darius was so good, much better in this event than he was in testing. He just was always really clean, curves really well into Forerunner. Very nice. And then I would maybe even consider going back to Pouty Poro over the Overzealous fans. Um, I did most of my testing with Pouty Poro, and not having him actually kind of mattered a lot. So those are probably the only changes I would make. The double star, double rebuke was like insane. Every single game, I was like, man, I'm so glad I have star in my deck. Um, so yeah, that was the deck felt really good. Like deck was like the best thing about I felt really clean about the deck list. So what else happened at Vegas? As you know, as you're probably aware, Draven won the event. Top four was all Draven. Um, and I am not generally like I don't mind if one deck kind of like defines the format. That's not that big of a deal to me. What is a big deal is that one deck that defines the format is Draven, and I cannot stand Draven. It is the most unfun garbage to play against. It's so miserable. It actually makes the game um it makes the game worse by Draven existing, The way that you have to play the game when Draven exists in the format, like if you look at all the top decks, Kaisa, Ezreal, even Aurelia to an extent, they're all trying to play as little Riftbound as possible, and that's just not, I don't think that that's what Riot wants. At least I hope that's not what Riot wants Riftbound to be. Is like everyone trying to play as little Riftbound as possible. Um, so yeah, Draven, I really don't like that deck. It's super unfun. The game, it just makes the game worse with him in it. So I hope, set 3 changes some things, or they take some sort of artificial action towards the format, like bans or limits or something like that. I don't know what the exact solution is. All I know is I don't like playing Riftbound when Draven exists, at least in his current form. And so that kind of brings me to the other thing I wanted to talk about is uh, Atlanta and Lille. What my thoughts are kind of on those events. I think that it'll unless Riot does some sort of action towards the format. I think you're gonna see the exact same things that we saw at Vegas, where it's just like more Draven, more Miracle. There's not really any kind of counter to that play style with the current card pool. So at least not one that's like consistent. Um, yeah. All in all, the event was fun. Honestly, the most fun I had at Vegas was Sunday night. Um, After the event, we did like a draft. We did like a mixed draft. We did like 16 packs of Spirit Forged, 8 packs of Origins. That was so freaking fun. That was so sweet. And then we did like a watch party of the top 8, which is like Draven mirrors, yay! Um, yeah, it was pretty rough. I went 5-1 in the Sunday rebound. I'm actually really happy I didn't go 6-0 in the Sunday rebound. If you're unfamiliar with what the Sunday rebound is, if you go 6-0, you get an invitation to one of the next regional qualifiers, so Lille or Atlanta. And I was like, I don't want to go 6-0 because if I go 6-0, then I'm gonna get an invite to Atlanta and then I have to go. And it's like I really don't want to, you know. I want to be playing as little, of this set as I can. Um, it's not that bad. It's just really boring. It's like I would rather be doing anything else than play Spirit Forged meta. But that's neither here nor there. What else? There was one other thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, so sort of the metal. There was some discussion about like the metal leaders, metal legends pricing. Um, and I just want to give my thoughts on that real quick. The I am a big fan of the metal legends. I got my regional invitation at Houston, so I didn't have to play. Like I had zero intention on trying to win Las Vegas or even make top 64. I was playing Annie because I wanted to get the metal legend, and like that was it, right? And there was a lot of individuals who were doing very similar things to what I was doing. And I think that's a good thing. I think that, people should be allowed to not, I don't think people should be forced to play the best. If Metal Legends weren't a thing, Draven would have 50 plus, 60 plus% representation. And I don't think that would be a better experience. Like, would it be more competitive? Yeah, probably, but it certainly would not be more fun, And I think that people forget that at the end of the day, that's what, games are supposed to be. They're supposed to be fun, And I think anything that makes the game more fun, even if it comes at making the game a little less competitive, is a good thing. And that's coming from myself, and now I consider myself a very competitive player, and I like competing at the highest level. But sometimes competing at the highest level with a sack of dog poop is more interesting even. So you take that with what you will. I really like the metal legends. 3 people in my testing Discord got medals. Um, it was actually a funny story. Actually, I will tell this story because it was probably the funniest thing that happened at Vegas. So my friend Tog, he was testing Draven for like weeks and weeks, right? And he was going to play Draven in the main event. Friday night, after so we got done with the Friday like pre-regional skirmish thing, and I'm like, Tog, there's no way you can bring Draven tomorrow. Okay, it's the deck, the EV. The amount of effort you're putting in to bring Draven, it's just not worth it. Because like if you want to make any money, if you want to like walk out of the event feeling good, you literally have to win the whole thing, or you're gonna walk out with nothing, right? And then so I'm like, okay, if you're gonna walk out with nothing, you might as well play a deck you enjoy. Tog is a big fan of set, so I'm just like, bro, just bring the set deck, right? Worst case scenario, you walk out with nothing. Best case, you walk out with the set, best of pricing, right? So he's like, yeah, you're right, you're right. Keep in mind, this is at like 10 p.m., right? 2 hours before decks are due for submission. In the Uber on the way back to the B&B, we stop at a friend's house and pick up some like Spirit Forged bulk for the set deck. And then he like throws it together real quick and he's like, "This is the sauce. We cracked it." And then registers the set deck. He almost wins. He was runner up for set best of, and I was like, bro. And the only reason he didn't get set best of is because the very last round, the round he needed to win to get it, he matched into our friend who was competing with the for the Ari best of, and that's a terrible matchup for set. So it was just like the whole thing was just cooked. It was so funny though. It's like he got so far. And then he matched into our friend on Ari, and it's like that's just like a really bad matchup for Seb. So he ended up not winning it, but yeah, like just if he would have been playing Draven and gotten that far on Draven, he wouldn't have been like, obviously Draven won the whole event, so he wouldn't have gotten anything. Now not that he got anything for playing set, but the fact that he was so close, the fact that he put in the same amount of effort and got so much closer to pricing, right? I don't know. The whole thing was just a really funny, it just reinforced to me that there's no reason to be playing, whatever the top deck is, right? Because it's like, why would you bother? Like the whole thing is just the game is set up in a way that you can just play whatever you want, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's about all I had to say. Pretty unstructured video. I'm trying to upload more, and I was just like, if I try and script this thing out, it is never coming out. So, just wanted to give us some quick thoughts. Event was fun. Draven sucks. The meta is not really enjoyable. I'm gonna be devoting most of my time next couple weeks. I'm gonna be doing some updates to Annie Guide, some additional thoughts, some Miracle matchups and deck list, because a lot of people are asking about like what's the best way to put Miracle and Annie. And I tested that quite a bit before I eventually swapped over to midrange. So I have some thoughts on the Miracle package. So those will be going up on Annie Guide. What else I don't want to say? Most after that, like once we start getting reveals for set 3, I'm pretty much going to devote all of my time to that. I'm, like I said, I'm looking for any excuse to like. I Riftbound. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna keep playing Riftbound. I love this game. It's incredible. But this specific meta, I don't isn't Riftbound. It's just not. Okay, it's just not what Riftbound is. At least what I think Riftbound is supposed to be. Okay, so I'm gonna be spending a lot of time testing Unleashed as soon as we get those reveals. I'm not gonna be going to Atlanta or Lille. I just like to what end really would be my question. Would be my response. So yeah, no Lille, no Atlanta. Testing Unleashed. Update to Annie Guide soon. I think that's about it. You guys have any questions, comments, concerns? I'm on Discord, Twitter, all that fun stuff. So hit me up. If you want the Bard mat, I got my Bard mat from Vegas. If you want that, I don't want it. So just first person that messages me and it's like, I want the Bard mat, boom, you can have it. So that's about it. So yeah.